Welcome back, everybody, to the NLC. We have our final game of the night, which will be Fnatic versus Riddle, which is an interesting one to call because Riddle are coming in with a new lineup here, and a lineup that could challenge some of the top dogs in our competition.
Yeah, and if I have to play devil's advocate here, aka Goldbug's advocate, he's gonna talk about Gooby, Denmark, how Gooby is his return into the Nordic scene. I think Gooby himself was very, very excited, to come back to his roots and play here as well. And he gave a really, really, really great showing, of course, with the Italian League in EU Masters as well. So I can't wait to see what he can actually do and what he can pull out with this specific roster, because this guy had literally a massive champion pool that he brought into EU Masters, from like mages to tanks to ADCs to AD bruisers, like anything you want it, he plays it.
Yeah, I would say someone who people may not recognize is the jungler for Riddle MC. I actually played in the UK scene for Misfits a while ago under the name of Flicked, and did actually end up winning the league and going to EU Masters. So honestly, I feel like there's quite a bit of talent on this Riddle roster. It's just whether it forms together and the cohesion is there. And with Fnatic Rising, obviously, our standards have always been super high for them. I know they obviously didn't meet those expectations towards the end of last split and also in EU Masters, but they still had a very strong showing during the regular season, and it's kind of the expectation here.
I think my problem last season as well with Fnatic is that none of their players had the pop-off factor. There wasn't like one specific player where like, now they're gonna pop off, now they're gonna pop off. One pops into mind, and that's Bean, but that would happen like really late into the game, after he's farmed, after he's got his items, and then he's gonna pop off in a team fight. But no one gave us that wow, for example, that BTXL gave us with like weird pathings or like ganks or solo kills and things like this. So this is what I'm expecting coming in this split from Fnatic Rising, that wow factor, that pop off. Give me the assassins, give me the bruisers, give me the 1v1s, give me the solo balls. I need to see true Fnatic form.
So Gulborg did do an impression of me on camera, so I'm going to do my attempt at a Gulborg level analysis of this game. If you guys are interested. Riddle are going to win because Denmark. I can't do the I can't do the accent. I'm sorry, Gulborg. Denmark. Ooh, Riddle. Denmark. They got Denmark in them.
Ox, please save us.
There you go.
Save us, Ox. Do it.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
Nectar and first pick coming in for Fnatic. It is something that we have seen pretty high prioritized by teams, even banning the first rotation, but not normally first pick worthy, although Riddle have banned away that Lee Sin, which has kind of been a consistent blue side first pick coming out. Do end up seeing the Jinx coming in, and actually a Morgana, which we haven't seen for a while. I think it makes sense when obviously one of the big safety nets for the Jinx tends to be the Thresh. Having the Morgana on your team does mean that there's a bit of an element of protection for that hyper-scaling AD carry.
The weird thing is here that if you're going to prioritize an AP jungler, traditionally it will be the Rumble if he's up and available, and Fnatic will be more than happy to do the trade between the two AP junglers because Rumble seems to be the strongest fit. And right now, they've also put around him two really, really, really strong and oppressive AD laners, so he can pick and choose where he chooses to go to. But I'm seeing the Sion here. It's not a Senna. Gooby did play the Senna Sion in the bot lane with Makers, but here I'm assuming that Kex is going to take the role of the tank.
Yeah, but the issue here is, as we've talked about many times today, you have that AP jungle, you want an AD mid, Lucian's banned away, and going to the second rotation, Tristana has actually been banned by them, so I feel like the pool's a little bit more limited, and we may end up having an AP mid in this situation, and it's hard to find too much pressure again against the likes of the Jason. I think priority is going to be so important in this matchup around mid lane. The thing is, you may have a Jinx in the bot lane who's going to scale up, but if the game starts to fall apart from the top side with these strong solo laners and the Rumble, then you're not really going to get a chance to actually scale up.
Okay, so Gulborg linked a screenshot, right? And I'm just going to go from the back of my head. Nautilus is still up and available. Riddle need an AD mid laner. The only recent win Slowq had in his OPGG was on Yasuo. Now, Yasuo's not a bad pick here because you can reach the backline where you're being dived, right? You can create the sort of hard engage
It's viable. It's
I know
viable, but
you hear me, yeah, but we're okay. Cool. I would have liked to see that with Rumble.
Just a little bit of AD damage, mate.
Akali with the Rumble because Rumble shreds magic resist. Akali's an AP assassin. It would have made so much sense to go for that Rumble Akali synergy. Still not sold on the Morgana, but I do like the Akali for, again, backline access.
Yeah, I also like how it syncs up with the Morgana in terms of the Morgana locks someone down, the Akali can quickly finish them off. UCP actually going for the Ezreal in this situation obviously means they can lean that support up top side, play more around the top lane, but Ezreal really isn't in the best place right now in this patch, and it's not the patch where Divine Sundra's been buffed, so we'll expect to see the sort of Essence Reaver Lethality build. It's still definitely playable, just will struggle in the later stages matching up against the Jinx, but they have a really safe bot lane with the Ezreal Rakan. Rakan can move up, and very much Fnatic Rising are going, we are going to play around our top side of the map.
Not only even the top side of the map, it's like their jungler mainly as well, because Rumble is one of these junglers that can so easy break Black Shield, because Morgana jungling, you have to level your pool, then you're gonna go into your Q for extra damage. So like Black Shield kind of gets left out on the side, and Rumble is just so easy to break that down. And you've got the two AD solo laners coming in as well, together with Rax, who love to roam last split. So I love what Fnatic are doing here. I wanted the pop-up factor. They have all the likes to do that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this 5 pick for Riddle, though, the Seraphine, because you know you're playing into another very aggressive lane. You know you're going to have priority. The engage starter for Rakan isn't really that high until he hits 6. So why not pick something that scales extremely well? And at this point, obviously, Fnatic, by all means, have the tools to have an explosive early game. But if they don't, there is now a sort of scaling aspect on Riddle that will very much overtake the game if they're left unchecked.
Yeah, and I think that's the name of the game for Riddle, right? You know, they have this incredibly late game scaling team. They just need to get there. Whereas Fnatic have a kind of team that's designed to tear that apart, designed to accelerate the game, designed to take over before that Jinx can even reach the late game, the Seraphine can reach the late game, etc. So, you know, two teams that clearly wanted to do very different things. And I guess the pressure is on Fnatic to come out swinging in this game. But it's also going to be interesting to see how Riddle performs. I'm going to hand it over to the man that can say Denmark better than me. Gulbug and Hitbrain, take it away.
That's right. I can say Denmark better than you, Excandrel. Hello and welcome to the Caster Desk. We're getting ready to go into our 5th and final game of the day. I'm loving this new 5-game format. Getting more action here as it is Fnatic Rising versus Riddle. And Fnatic Rising, honestly, spring in general was not good. Like, honestly, for a team that had been undefeated in running up to that point, then losing and then having a pretty bad European Masters performance as well. They're looking to do some pretty big recovery here. And I mean, keeping the same team, we'll have to see whether or not it's going to work out for them as we are getting ready to go into our game.
Yeah, and last time around, they had a pretty slow start as well to their split. Remember, they lost out the first game, almost lost out the first game, I think. They did have a substitute, but at the same time...
They definitely lost their first game, and I'm trying to remember
then they
what
did
team
lose
beat
it.
them. Was it Barrage? I can't remember now. I've had a complete brain fart. I'm sorry.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I did not expect you to remember either. But while we are in a break, this, I think, will be the most hyped matchup of today. I think Fnatic, obviously, come in and we talk about them, did not have the hottest start, did not have the best performance in the European Masters. But when you look at the talent across the board, this is 5 individually skilled members who, by any given time, can pop up. We've seen it with Beam, Pentakills coming out of nowhere. Theb have been shining still, and now he's on a champion where he can really take control on an AD mid laner like this. And with this composition that we're seeing here, a lot of power are being put into the solo laners. When you're playing with an Ezreal that Orcs also mentioned, not the strongest right now in this patch, has to go for the lethality, can still work out, but on this comp right now, you're looking at the Renekton, you're looking at the Jace, and those are your carries from the side of Fnatic. And yes, Trouble, I am on the side of Riddle, going to be talking about Gooby for so long. I've been waiting for this guy to be part of the NLC. My blood has been boiling seeing PG Nationals creating rosters with this guy, go to the European Masters every time, getting quarters, taking games of LDLC and all this stuff we always talk about. So with the roster that Riddle have built here themselves, I think they have some talent in individual that can pop off themselves. Kex have not had the best performance, but in the past has been a very feared top laner for a lot of players out there. Afflict, or MC, or what he's called now on the server, as Ox mentioned as well, did win Forge of Champions back in 2018 and qualified, playing alongside Chris Berg, played on teams with Leader that just promoted to Vitality. He took a bit of a break from the competitive side and is back now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can pull off. And then I saved the best for last. Slowq in this mid lane, 17 years old. And is just like mechanically stable in lane, loves to play these champions, love to play assassins, and love to play Akali. And what a statement it would be if he could make that work in a game against the likes of Peppermint.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things. You always see these kind of like hot new mid laners popping up, and it's always the players like Slowq who show up with this kind of like really aggressive mid laner pool who are always really exciting to watch and see how they grow. I mean, you think back to the likes of Leader when he kind of first jumped in onto the scene. He was, you know, the Zed player, the Akali player. We knew him as this kind of explosive assassin player. Obviously Leader is in another league, but Slowq, I'm excited to see, you know, what he's got. You know, like you said, he's got a very, very interesting champion pool. And players like this are always really fun if he can kind of prove his worth. Like you said, if he can stand up to the likes of Febiven and potentially take an early win off Fnatic, it's not about, okay, yeah, we're one win closer to that top 3 spot. It's a massive statement, and it really shows you as a player that people have to think about. And when you're a player like this, you can draw these kind of target bans, which as the meta gets more and more defined as we get later on into the season, thinking about, oh, we have to ban Akali versus Slowq. It's that thing we had with Hjarnan when he used to play in the scene, was you had to just ban Heimerdinger, and you basically lost a ban to him. So
Take it back,
see what he's going to do.
Sahira last split, it was like, oh, we have to ban Victor and Rice because then he's not doing too hard. But when you gave them Victor Rice, it was just so hard for so many teams to play against them. So if that is something, a fear you can put into other teams, of course, that's going to be absolutely fine. And I think taking it down to the Riddle bot lane as well, I think the bot lane matchup between these two teams is going to be something to look forward to. Rox and Maxi was the jungle support duo we talked a lot about when groups play was still going on in last NLC, the way they were roaming on. And I want to see PlayStation be able to keep Rox down in this lane. PlayStation has been known as a laner that's been a bit too flippy at times, going too overconfident in. And I've spoken a bit to both Gooby and Flay, and they have been talking about if they can make it work where Gooby is controlling Flay to the point where he's not in sync, but actually, you know, going for these high pressure plays that works, they'll be able to come up and contest this one. So I have high hopes for this bot lane matchup because we are looking at a great AD carry in Bean and an AD carry that is proven in Gooby as well. So this is going to be a really hype matchup from the bot lane.
Now, you've obviously been looking at our faces for a little bit. We did briefly show you some of the game. We have had a pause, unfortunately. We've had a disconnect from one of the players, internet crashing. Hopefully, it shouldn't be resolved too long from now, but unfortunately, we are still waiting for an update from that particular player. So, I mean, it wouldn't be the UK and Nordics. It wouldn't be the NLC without disconnecting on the first day. We had pauses earlier on in the day. Yeah. And I think it's time to maybe kill some time. I asked you to do an impression of one of our casters.
No.
I'm gonna go with Jamada. Give me Jamada, Gulborg. Let's see.
Yeah, but it's like Jamada is just chill. Like I don't know what to do an impression.
Easier.
Like
I think he's easier.
Look. Like he always goes look. He always goes like look and then pause. And then there's like a stop. Look. And then he's just like looking into the camera. Look. And then his last bit, I don't know what to say though, but
hey, that's another one. Hey, look, hey. I probably couldn't do Jamada, to be honest. I'm not chill enough.
Do it.
Oh god. Hey. I can't. I literally can't. I can only do hey. Oh no. Jamada, we love you. If anyone saw the hype video at the beginning of the day, Jamada honestly just made that video of like, it's NLC, baby. That was cool. That was so cool when he did it.
Like,
oh well, I've got my producer yelling in my ear. We're trying to have fun and mock Jamada, even though he's the coolest guy on the goddamn show. We're gonna throw to a break while we wait for this issue to get resolved. So when we're back, we'll be back with the game. We promise. We'll see you in a moment. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NLC. Now, unfortunately, we do have ongoing pause issues. Fnatic, unfortunately, Bean's internet has just poofed and his entire neighborhood lost all internet. So what's going to happen is Fnatic do have a sub. They are going to be playing their sub in this game, but they do need to do a full remake of this. So they'll have Lingard filling in for Bean, who was obviously their sub at the beginning of last split. Eerie things kind of
all coming together again.
Yeah, it's Lingard once again. But yeah, so Fnatic, we have to remake the sub, put Lingard in, and then we'll get going with our last game of the day. But what that does mean is while we do our remakes and while we mess around, we got time. We got time to chat.
One thing I will say though is that last time Lingard was subbed in, he was subbed in for the top lane. Now he's an AD carry main. So this time around, he's finally subbed in his correct position. So maybe this time around, it's going to be a bit easier. He is playing Israel, so it's not the most mechanical demanding champion, and he is not the main source of damage in his team right now. Like we've already discussed this. The main damage dealers or the playmakers for the side of Fnatic Rising is going to be the Renekton and Feberbin on this chase. So not the best case scenario. Obviously, it sucks that you have to play with us up, but it could have been worse.
No, it absolutely could have been. At least, like you said, at least Lingard is now playing in his main role. And we'll actually get to see what he's like as an AD carry. This is kind of his chance to really show us what he's made of.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
I think we'll discuss all this in-game. We got loads of time. We got to do a remake. My director, observer, viewer thing has crashed again, so... we got time. We've got time to get going.
See, that's great.
In the meanwhile,
I've been meaning to ask you. I will not have you put another impression. All right.
No, it won't be an impression. I promise.
Okay.
It won't be an impression. Would you rather? Here we go. Would you rather be able to go back in time and meet your great ancestors, or go forward in time and meet your great grandchildren?
I feel like I have no need for either. Like, can I pass?
Yeah, technically, you don't.
Can I pass?
You can't pass. You got to meet one of them. That's the point of these things.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, maybe go to the future, because then, like, if I went to the future, then I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my relatives. I don't care about them, and then I'd see what the future is like instead.
Yeah, so that's one thing, but I feel like if you went in the forward and met your because these are your great grandkids, so they'll probably still know of you and met you. They'll be like, oh yeah, it was great. Like, you got hit by a bus and died or something. Like, I don't want to know how I die. So I think
how do you go from I'm just meeting you to kids randomly bringing up how their ancestor died or their grandpa died?
I don't know. Like, you see,
is that something you to be fair, normal day conversation?
To be fair, I don't know how my great grandfather died, but they might know. If I go out in a terrific way, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you fell in the penguin enclosure at the zoo and got mauled to death by 30 hungry penguins."
Knowing you're just gonna fall down the stairs, and that's just gonna be the end of you. Like,
I almost fell down the stairs on the way in the break, actually. Bean's back!
Bean is back, that's crazy.
Bean's back, okay. Lindorf actually, he just got owned. I feel so sorry for that poor guy. Oh. Bean is back, so hopefully we'll be getting back into the game, unless they do continue to keep Lindorf. I'll find out from our admin any moment now. But yes, we will be getting back into the game any moment. But yeah, ancestors, go back in time. I want to meet the people I came from. That'd be really cool. See what time was like. Well, what life was like for them back then. They might have some
use
cool
that
things
information for. I feel like it's just the most useless stuff to do.
What? Sure. We're filling time here, Goldborg. I don't know if you got the memo, but we're literally just filling dead air.
All right, but then your questions, they suck. All right, I'm just gonna put that out there. Now, I don't have a better question myself. I don't. But I will be asking you this instead. So I've been planning a trip to Japan this fall when we can finally go out a bit, and I know you've been to Osaka already, right?
No, I've not been to Osaka. I've been to Kyoto and Tokyo.
Well, then you're absolutely useless once again.
I'm planning, because I'm actually, funny enough, planning to go either this fall or in May.
Oh, crazy!
Back to Japan. Realistically, here's my advice: you're probably not getting into Japan in this fall. It's not great out there at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think tourism's still like pretty frozen over there.
Yeah.
So if you're planning trips, try probably next year. But Kyoto's amazing. We're planning to go to Osaka, hopefully, if we can go out long enough, because it's kind of a time-based thing.
Yeah, because I've been to Tokyo, and like I know what Tokyo's like, and it's a big city.
Oh, you've been already? Yeah, of course you have.
Yeah, I have, of course.
We've talked about this.
Of course, many times. That's why I'm bringing it up. Like, because Tokyo, it's a lovely city where you got different sort of temples, but still got like you get the traditional and you get the city life. You get new buildings. You get the karaoke stuff. You need like. It's a bit of both, and you can travel to all of it. But I kind of want to go to like more traditional Japan stuff rather than just like new city and everything like that.
Have you done Kyoto?
No, I have not.
Kyoto's gorgeous. It's honestly just one of the prettiest places in the world. It's amazing. It's so pretty. They've got this really big shrine that would actually take you a whole day to explore. It's yeah. Honestly, it's amazing. Kyoto's sick. I do want to see Osaka though. Although I've heard it's slightly disappointing, and maybe I should say that. I'd like to do the islands in the south as well, where it's a bit more tropical. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Okay. What's the next country you're gonna go to when you can finally leave? Because I feel like.
Well, funnily enough, we are planning a revisit of we being me and my girlfriend are planning a revisit of.
Odd flex there, but okay.
Of Japan with some friends. I would really like to go back to Switzerland again. I genuinely think Switzerland.
Never been there. Never been there.
I actually think Switzerland is the prettiest country in Europe. It's.
Have you ever been to Denmark?
Yeah, I have actually. Very
Wait,
briefly.
what? Really?
Yeah, I have briefly been to Denmark. I can't remember where I went to Denmark, but it was when I was younger. It's nice. Like I like Europe. I think like a lot of like mainland Europe's really lovely. South of France is incredible.
I agree.
I've briefly done Italy, but that's only skiing. So I haven't actually seen Italy for what Italy is, but Italian people are amazing. They're so nice.
Good food
and
as
their
well.
food is incredible.
Yeah.
Like legit. I didn't think pasta could actually be that good, but it was. Like, it's actually.
That's because you're so used to the pasta you're cooking.
I remember it's just pasta, right? Like, it's one of those foods where it's like, yeah, it's just carbs and sauce, and then like some other stuff. But it's some of it like you could eat Italian pasta plain, and it would still be better than any other pasta. It's so good.
But
so good.
I heard you cook. I heard there was when you and Orcs was living. I don't know if you were living in a cabin together back then, or what you were with Nordic League back then.
Yeah.
But what was it you did with the pasta? You dropped. What was the story like?
I did a lot of things with the pasta. I'm gonna be honest. I cooked me and Orcs pasta that night, and it was a mess. I mean, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was tired as hell. I dropped the thing I was mixing the pasta with, and I just picked it up and carried on mixing with it. Probably shouldn't have done that.
If you're at home,
it was slightly chewy, slightly crunchy, and then I also, when I was applying pepper to it, the pepper thing fell off, and as Orcs put it, it was like eating smog's breath. Like it was pretty bloody warm.
I'm hearing Orcs in my ear right now is telling me you dropped it on the carpet as well. Like it was not wooden floor. You dropped it on the carpet.
The worst thing is this whole room, like it was all wooden, but there was this one like small strip of carpet, and for some reason it dropped on that carpet. I don't know. It's fine. It's a bit of extra fluff, Doesn't hurt anyone.
I felt like you said it was kind of chewy. It's like the pepper fell in.
Well, no, that wasn't the mix of things on the floor. That was I just didn't cook it right. It was fine.
Right.
It was alright. I also cooked way too much.
Wow,
we're in the game.
That's crazy.
Look who's in the 80k roll.
Wait, I forgot we were supposed to do this. Wow, that's excellent. Finally into the game.
I want to talk about Europe again.
No. Read this card for me. The MasterCard Nexus inside. Go for it.
Riddle Esports Jungler MC has returned to competitive play after a break. Full stop. He won the Fortune Champions in summer of Misfits Academy back in 2008. I remember that because I was there.
Were you casting that final?
I did cast the. Yes, I did. Did I? Yes, I did the finals, and I hosted on the day before. Yes, because I was on the stage. That's the picture of me. The picture of me that we always use on any picture of me on a talent announcement is from that Forge of Champions, because I haven't had a photo of me in a studio since. That's how long it's been since someone has taken a picture of me in a studio.
I mean, back then you had colored hair. Now you don't have colored hair. I think I see a pattern here.
I like my hair at the moment. It's nice and long.
I don't know what to respond to that. Now, on to the junglers. They are starting from separate sides of the map, and you can see Featherwin, I misspoke earlier, actually on the Renekton into the Akali matchup, which, as far as I remember, should be favorable towards the Renekton as well. I may be mistaking here, so sorry about that. And you can see both junglers, as I said, not mimicking each other here. They're going for different sides of the map. So Maxi is going to be making that first gank if he decides to look on towards that top side, and MC towards the bottom side, where you have Gooby on towards this Jinx. And you can see PlayStation actually starting W there. That's kind of cute. So when Rox actually went in, shielded all the damage with the Guardian as well, and then just did not take any damage whatsoever.
Yeah, it was really nice there. Slowq's going to have this minion wave crash into his face, and it's just going to look and try and check out where MC is on this Morgana jungle. As Bean is just going to get level 2'd to level 1'd. Not really much.
That's kind of the thing. Like in a matchup like this, Orcs mentioned it briefly in the desk as well. Rakan's really just waiting for 6. When you have a double range bot lane like the Seraphine and Jinx here, you just have to forfeit what's called lane priority. There's not much to do about this, and I think that's the reason why MC is possibly also making his pattern towards down here. Like if there was a Scuttle fight to break out, the bottom pressure from the Riddle bot lane here with Gooby and Flay should just be better. And you can see now with this stack wave that they have gotten, they're able to go for a cheater recall, and Gooby should be able to pick up a call and boots actually for PlayStation here. So a really good start from Riddle, just utilizing the pressure they're creating from their lane matchups.
Yeah, they're going to lose nothing and gain a lot for that, so that's lovely for them. As again, this bot mid lane is also pushing in though. We see Febby shove the wave and then just move out onto the map, try and spot out MC, try and get some vision for his team, and then just make his way back towards the mid lane. Now MC is on the bottom side of the map as Febby gonna go for that slice and dice forward, will lock slow down for the moment and then they'll slice away, but there isn't Morgana in the area. Remember, those bindings do last for a fair amount of time, so does have to be somewhat careful.
Yeah, and he does just drop a ward here, actually not starting Sweeper. Neither of the junglers started Sweeper here, just to scout out some extra here. And you can see Featherwin with the mid lane priority is moving up towards this top side, where Maxi is waiting in the bush as well. Could cover off the minion wave here, and he will.
Yeah, Prize able to crash the wave. Here comes Maxi. They're using the teleports, but the dive is coming in anyway. Febby flashes forward. He's tanking tower shots, and he's picked up. Slowq finds first blood. Into the Shroud he goes as he gets cooked out by Maxi with the Flame Spitter. And a massive misplay by Featherwin.
Maybe he was a bit too tired after that pause. A bit hypey play coming out from Febby there. Pride could look for the shock blast, but cooldown is not there. And TP will just come back from Texas. Slowq should be able to get back. Predator.
MC's got the Predator on. Uses that Black Shield. He's just stopping the Fnatic from getting away. Misses the Dark Binding. That's me. All she wrote on that one.
But in the end, that is still going to be a trade favorable from the side of Riddle here. So it's actually Fnatic starting this one out, and initially it's a fine dive, but as soon as this flash comes through, Febby is just very greedy trying to go for that one there. Onto a tank. Kex close to dying, but in the end not really, right?
Febby stuns a minion. Unlucky. As we take a moment, a bit of a respite after Featherwin's misplay, Slowq should hit 6 first in this lane as well. Has got a pretty big wave crashing into him. Got the blasting wand off the back of that pick. Although I don't really think we'll ever see Slowq actually go for a solo kill on Featherwin unless he's ridiculously fed.
I mean, it would not be unusual that you just see a Akali trying to put you down with a Q and then just go for it with the perfect execution at some point in time. But what I think we're going to mostly be looking towards is this pressure we can get from the bot side of the map, because when Drake is about to spawn, there should be the priority through Gooby and PlayStation. They should be the one with the move. They should be the one if you want to go in and counter jungle for when the red buff respawns for Maxi. You have the priority from this bot lane. And that is possibly what you're going to be looking for here from the side of Riddle. Slowq, as I said here, pop-up potential is there. Febby is under half HP, and as soon as 6 comes through, he could go for it.
He's got it. Febi's also got himself the ultimate, just pops it for a bit more health. And I think that's going to be Slowkey going, no, thank you. Steps away from that one.
Oh, are they going for the same play again here? Maxi is behind them. Febivan is making his way up there as well. Kex
This
taking
time-
a lot of damage.
They have no teleport, but actually he's gone for the outplay. Kex has found it. Finally is cooked out.
And in zombie form, should be able to pick up some of the CS here. It's a 1-for-1. He still gets the wave, and they get the Drake on the other side of the map. They push in the mid lane tower, and in the end, Riddle coming out ahead on this skirmish again.
Fnatic just falling victim to the top lane tower 2 times in a row. And Riddle have themselves a very slight gold lead, but what this really is they got themselves the dragon off the back of that as well.
You can kind of see it here. Kex, he's trying to make his way past Maxi, trying to ult behind him, but he's not able to. And Maxi resets the tower aggro as Pride is trying to take him down. Pride still with the flash up. Falls to the tower because of the knockup.
Really, really lovely play there from Kex. He's had a lot of attention put on him and so far has absorbed it well. Gooby now starting to take over in this bot lane even more so, shoving in the wave consistently to Bean. It is an Ezreal. Ezreal famous for his lack of wave clear. Obviously, you can now be by Tiamat and things on him, but even so.
And goals should be fairly even. I'd actually like to see where it's sitting at right now. You can see in the mid lane, just a couple hundreds setting them apart. Maxi has a small lead in the jungle, but top side's pretty much even. 80 carry Gooby ahead with small 100 gold, but this game still very close despite the small skirmishes here. Still anyone's hand.
It's definitely still anybody's game, but that early dragon pickup for MC is lovely. He's got himself farm lead over Maxi, has got that level lead as well. Not really reflected in the gold, however. Slowkey just looking to poke onto Febby a little bit. Station also coming in with a quick beat drop, not actually going to quite hit it, but Fnatic are just 5-manning towards this Rift Herald. They really just want to strong arm their way here.
Yeah, but they have already lane swapped as well from the side of Riddle. They could look towards putting Kex up here, but actually decides not to. And in a situation like this, it might have been better for them to just put Gooby down in that bot side, let him be the one getting the solo plating. Because right now, yes, Kex is getting plating, but this is your tank getting the plating. He's not going to be the one winning the game. Gooby on that Jinx most likely is going to be that. So Riddle opting in for the lane swaps, thinking they can go for the play, but Fnatic initially actually being the one getting that objective.
Yeah, not optimal, but at least they are getting something. They are getting that gold onto that tank. The person who's been on the receiving end of a lot of love.
TP.
The teleport's coming in. Station, no 6 available. The equalizer put out beautifully. Gooby flashes, but Febby coming to lock them down and make sure that he finds himself the kills here. Bean secures himself 1, and Maxi gets the 2nd.
And Fnatic, they're just so damn proactive. You can see it right here. Gooby and Flay just steps up forward a bit, and Febivan is there with the TP. Max is there as well, and Herald is active. They could be looking just ingesting all this gold onto Bean here, trying to snowball this AD carry as much as they can.
Well, this is going to be Bean just getting even more plates, even more gold. Probably will be able to take this first tower here. Has got the wave to work with and the damage. Solo plate gold onto Bean with first turret blood. Probably not going to be able to find a charge out, unfortunately, as the Rift Herald will go down to the minions as Kex is just going to collect the wave.
And just like that, Bean is 1,200 gold ahead. It was not more than probably 3 minutes ago. We just talked about how Gooby and him was 100 of gold from each other, but now times 12 of a gold lead now.
So Cube and Febby just going for these consistent trades, but it does get harder and harder now. The magic resist is there for Febivan. He's got that Kindle gem, so he's got a bit of health and cooldown reduction, but with the fact that he is going to have a few points in his Q, he should be able to sustain up fairly well versus slow Q. And slow Q not really got the sustain to match at the moment.
It's going to be 1 minute until the second Drake spawns here, and just by judging out how Fnatic has been playing so far, you'd imagine they go for this Drake as well. Now, Riddle did do a good job of getting that first Drake, so they are... want to be careful there as Rocks does get through there, but they're not in danger of just a ridiculous fast stack coming through with Fnatic with this Ocean Soul or this Drake Soul in general. So they can actually afford giving this up with if they want to. They have a late game insurance in their Jinx, and I don't think they need to go for this. But looking at the posturing from Kex right here, it looks like they're feeling a fight for this one.
The equalizer's been used, and NC has lost a lot of health as the zap, the binding's going to follow up, and the encore to come in as well. They get a lot of damage off into Maxi, but Maxi's able to survive, and MC's low. Bean looking for that final snipe for the Q, unable to quite connect it onto MC, but Pride comes in with a shot blast. Tex caught out by Febiven, and nobody's going to die here. The health bars on Riddle are just exceptionally low. Maxi also pretty low himself. Kex with that charge not up means Maxi should be under no real threat here, as Gooby, no ultimate available, and MC going to try his best to try and steal this, but hasn't got the ultimate available, and that's going to be the second Dragon of the game over to Fnatic Rising.
Yeah, PlayStation extremely low. Need to be a bit... Ooh, careful. Almost caught him in the back there, but he is able to get out. And yeah, I think it was very optimistic by Riddle in general, trying to go for that one. Fnatic just had the setup. They had the pressure to get on the Drake first. And while a small fight did break out, HP bars just wasn't there for Riddle to get on and contest that Drake. And with this, Fnatic should be able to get out comfortably on the map. Next objective that would be spawning would be the second Rift Herald. So probably what we're going to be waiting for before we get to another skirmish.
Well, they're looking to try and find a pick onto Slowkey. Slowkey has to flash away, and nothing else really burnt there from the side of Fnatic. Febby is starting to get a little bit low, and then just uses his Q and heals straight back up, so he's fine.
Well, that's kind of what we're expecting for them. We talked about the solo laners right here for Fnatic Rising. They are the one who needed to carry, but Bean, even at this point, is turning into a bit of a nuisance himself here with all the early game that's been injected into him. Now, Riddle does still have leverage in this game. They have a lot of late game in their kit. The Akali, the Jinx, the frontline you get from Kex here. You have the Black Shield for the Jinx as well into the later stages. So that is what you're waiting for Riddle. If you can stall out this game, then you got a game plan for yourself here. If you are Fnatic, you want to keep being proactive. And I gotta say, it's very refreshing seeing this from Fnatic. The fact that they are just not holding back whatsoever, specifically after just coming out of that Singularity Dusty game, which was the exact opposite, really.
Yeah, no, honestly, much better stuff here from Fnatic. We're seeing Bean's the first person to pick up their first complete item as he's got the Divine Thunderer. Gooby just finished the Kraken Slayer on this base as well. So both AD carries are now rocking their first full item. Leeching Lair in the pocket of Slowkey, so building closer and closer towards that Riftmaker. The items are starting to come in. We've got 3 minutes until this dragon is going to spawn up. I assume that's probably when we're going to see our next kind of big bout of action.
You say that, 1 minute until Rift Herald though. You don't have that as a timer, but if you look onto the minimap, Gray, little hourglass has spawned onto the Rift Herald here. So last time we saw the lane swaps to come through, and as you can see right here, Riddle has put that bot lane into the mid lane here, and so is Fnatic answering, but Riddle waiting around, see if they can get a pick onto Rox here, but no skill shot really connects.
They're not going to be able to find that one as Riddle were just waiting in the wings, looking for a potential pick onto Febiven. The Febiven spider senses were tingling and decides to step away from that one. Maxi now on the top side of the map in the wings for Fnatic in the mid lane right now.
Look at this positioning from Kex here. You can clearly see that Riddle is trying to do something with this play. They want to make sure something happens, perhaps get a kill onto Gooby. With Kex deciding that they're not going to bite from the side of Fnatic, just moving back onto this top side. And you know what? I like the way they used that downtown here. There's no way Kex was going to be up here anyway. So he might as well... You're not going to go for this, Loki, are you?
That would be one thing to lose, to be honest, I think, if you took that one. Fnatic are going to pick up this second Rift Herald for themselves. We'll see where they decide to use that. Obviously, the plates have already fallen off, so it will be most likely used just to take down a tower. They could lose it to open up the mid lane for themselves, although kind of harking back to they don't really have a massive amount of solid wave clear on this team at all. So Riddle, all they need to do is just make sure they rotate members over.
Oh, right. No.
That wasn't a sidestep. That was just pot luck. He is going to jump in and knock up a couple of members as the Equalizer go down, and Gooby able to lose his life already. The Equalizer burning, and MC going to get picked up as Maxi secures himself a killing spree, just about surviving to the tower with a sliver of health. Summons the Rift Herald to make sure they take this one down, and Fnatic capitalize on Riddle, just missing out on those crucial skill shots.
That's the thing, Jake. If Fnatic's are just relentless. Rux just walked out there, no sidestep, literally just walked. As soon as they see those summoner spells, or not summoner spells, but as soon as they see the Riddle members in that bush, they just collapse with everybody around. And then even when the play came through, Black Shield came down to the Seraphine. Gooby didn't have a way out of that one either. So it's just mixed coordination from the Riddle squad there, and I think we'll get to see it in a replay here. So yeah, fight initially starting out here, and then you see the Black Shield actually onto the Seraphine, so Gooby just stuck onto this one, and PlayStation walking out. Not the target you would have wanted to survive that skirmish from the side of Riddle.
And it really is just a little bit too much kind of AP damage coming in for Gooby to even survive with that Black Shield. Equalizer plus the AP scaling on the True Shot Barrage means Gooby is just going to get melted through as Dragon's now spawning up in 8 seconds time. This will be the third one of the game and the second one for either team. Fnatic are the team who are set up to take this objective. They've got the push in the top and the bot lane. It looks like a potential dive is being set up. Kex is pretty tanky. Got an item and a half right now and a fair amount of armor, so I don't really think they have what it takes to actually go in for that tower dive, but they are going to shove the wave and start up this dragon. See what stall we're going to be looking at. It's going to either be that Infernal or the other one, which I've forgotten.
Jake,
Cloud. It's a Cloud Soul.
Cloud.
Oh my God.
It can only be Cloud. It's the third Drake.
Yeah. It looks like that pause didn't just affect Febiven at the beginning of the game. It's affecting me as well, apparently.
But I think one of the crucial things coming out of this one was like there's not really much of a cross map coming out from Riddle, meaning that when Fnatic went for that Drake, what did Riddle get on the other side of the map? And really they only got that Grump, and that was all they got out of that exchange. So Fnatic, not only do they take everything on the map, they make sure they do not lose anything on the other end.
Yeah, and this is the big thing is they're being proactive. They're taking things, like I said, not losing much. They've only lost that Ocean Drake and a couple of kills. The gold lead in their favor was 17 minutes in. It's a 3,000 gold lead. See kind of where that gold has been injected. There's a big lead starting to build up for being 1,100 over Gooby. Top side of the map is pretty close, but there is also a massive jungle lead of the 1,000 gold there and a 900 gold lead in the mid lane. It is starting to get a little bit problematic for Riddle as Bean's going to pick up this red buff, and Fnatic are just going to look to try and take this tier 2 or at least pressure it. Maxi maybe seeing if he can bait Slowky. Slowky feeling comfortable with the fact that he's got that pink ward, but Maxi is quite close.
Yeah, but once again, it's just what we're waiting for. I don't know how much time they're going to have, though. Like, it is only the second Drake we have onto Fnatic here. Next one is going to be the third, and even that, you can probably give up here. What you're looking for is mostly 2 to 3 items on Slowky and Gooby, and then feeling confident to fight that, because the front line has started to become very beefy from the side of Riddle. Kex, who was injected with some gold, has finished up that Frostfire Gauntlet. He is looking towards more armor, as you can already see. A lot of the damage dealer from the side of Fnatic is that AD heavy one, and then Maxi really being the only consistent AP damage dealer, but worrisome thing for that is that he is very fed right now. Like, he is gonna melt through that side, and that's gonna be a big factor in the late game coming facts if they're not optimizing into some of this magic resist, because Maxi, he will just completely delete you.
Fnatic now kind of nestling control of this mid wave, and it feels like again we're going to be into a little bit of a lull. There is no Rift Herald, there is no Baron, I mean, a bit early for the Baron, even though it's spawning in 30 seconds. So Fnatic just going to try and play the wave game for the moment, try and keep control, deny jungle camps from MC. And it's exactly what they're doing as Rux is going to jump over the wall. Equalizer gets thrown out, and so does the Encore, but it only clips onto one. Slowky jumps in with that killer, with the perfect execution. Looks to try and flip back into the fight, but health bars on Riddle are pretty low, but same for Fnatic right now. They get themselves a knock-up. Kex is low. Febby slides into multiple members, slices and dices to safety, and Riddle find themselves a kill onto the Fnatic member. Taking out Pride. Fnatic have no way to answer back.
And you can clearly tell that all players on both teams here are willing to skill check this situation here, even though the fight looked very dire in this situation. No one really wanted to back out here. And initially, I like the play coming out here from really nice read by MC, putting the Black Shield onto PlayStation, not onto himself, actually. Slowky getting very burned by Max as soon as he gets into it. And there is the front line we're talking about in Kex. He's making sure that no one is being touched. Gooby just one extra kill for being able to get that reset and possibly clean up the fight here, but all they will get is one kill. Still something that is very much needed, but you can look at that damage from Slowky, actually being the one who's done total damage to all the champions in this game so far.
It's a lot of damage, actually. Yeah, I kind of thought Slowkey had been having a bit of a sleeper game, but actually, a lot of damage coming out.
I will say, though, granted, a lot of Akalu's playstyle is that she'll throw a lot of Qs in laning phase, and he's not been able to put all of it. So, like, let's say a lot of the times he's been able to put the Recton down to half HP. That has been some of the damage that's racking up there as well. But nonetheless, still very impressive from the 17-year-old Slowkey.
I think you can also see that MC isn't doing much at the moment. It has been a pretty quiet game from him. That graph, by the way, was total damage over the game. That wasn't that last fight. That was the whole game.
I know.
And 575 from MC on the Morgana. Only into triple digit, and we're 21 minutes into the game. And we just had that fight. MC's not really offering too much at the moment here on this Morgana. Obviously, the black shielding and things like that, and the utility that they are bringing for the team is obviously something that you can't really reflect right now in those kind of graphs, but
all you're looking for is just one good Dark Binding as well. There's no QSS, there's no cleanse on any members of the side of Fnatic. You hit that and you put them on. Oh no.
Equalizes in, the flanks on, and Fnatic are just looking at the fight. MC's not even going to get any more damage to pad the stats as he is taken out almost instantly. Bebevin's tanking tower, and he's getting a lot of CC thrown onto him, but he just flashes for the double kill. Able to survive as Pride continues the tanking. Slowkey takes out Rux, and Kex is so low, not going to get hit by the shot blast. As Fnatic just need to make their way out, they can be happy with the 4-for-1 team fight they just had. As Bebevin slowed down by the Roar, but Fnatic, they're just turning their attention straight towards this Baron Nashor.
Yeah, what a beautiful setup from Fnatic that was. They came from all flanks. Scooby thought he was safe, just clearing out that wave, and immediately just got pincered down. Very low HP bar here, and Jinx Rocket is on the way.
Right. Oh, the rocket! That was a squeaky bum moment, Gulborg.
Yeah, but they were ready for it. You can see they were waiting it. Goopy put it right down the middle, and they just went out. But here we kind of see the fight again, and just look at the engage coming here. Equalizer slows them all around. Black Shield is there, but as you talked about earlier, there's just too much magic damage from the side of Maxi to burn it through. And then Slowkey is kind of going for a super sick moment here. Lands the Shuriken flip, tries to get onto Beam here, just barely misses the last cube, but a clutch flash from Beam. But in the end, it is Fnatic who's just throwing down the Iron Gauntlet here, saying this game is ours.
During that replay, we did see Riddle actually pick up the Cloud Drake. They teleported Kex in to make sure they pick it up, but that's a small silver lining on the fact that now a 23-minute Baron is going to start to siege up in the top and the mid lane, and Pride can just poke away and be really annoying for Gooby to deal with. Gooby, 2 items on the Jinx, is able to dodge away on that shot blast, but these towers are slowly but surely being worked down as Bebevin just tanking the tower. He's going to take the tier 2 in the top side. And just extending this gold lead, extending the tower lead, as Fnatic haven't dropped a single tower this game. It is a near flawless game for them.
They're just not finding anything with this. Like, the C chats come through here. The thing is, though, that Fnatic Rising's win condition is not going to be a soul, or at least the game is going to stall out a long time if it comes to that point. That's what you want, realistically speaking, if you're Riddle. But Fnatic right now, a lot of gold ahead here. It's just going to be what's probably going to be the main factor of them sieging down these turrets. I just think you need the next Baron, and then you just need to take care of this game. That's all you're waiting for with Riddle, and that does put you on a small timer if you are Riddle, as Fnatic is just relentless in taking down these things. And you can see Kex forced even to all the way from this turret. You just have to give everything up. There's nothing you can do as Riddle right now. Fnatic, once again, taking everything they want on this map.
And there's just nothing that Riddle can get in return other than the waves that Fnatic gift to them as they hard shove. Resets are coming in off the back of the Baron. They took 2 towers with that. 3 towers, sorry. Excuse me, with that. Extending that gold lead even further. Now 9,000 separating both of these teams. Just under that, actually. My maths are a little off. It's been a long, long night. But they've gone back to base. They spent that gold. I actually quite like to have a quick look at where that items and what items they've been able to pick up there. Medjai's from Maxi. Got the Manamune and the Eclipse, and another serrated onto Pride. The items are coming in, and I worry that Riddle are not going to have the opportunity to be able to deal with them. Gooby, 2 items on the Jinx, great, but you kind of want to get that 3rd item like you highlighted earlier on in the day. And he's just not getting enough waves. He's just not getting enough gold. And Kex now just going to get run down.
For 1 range minion as well. That was 14 gold.
There it is. Bean finds himself a killing spree. Kex Not really able to do too much about that. And even in zombie form, not even going to be able to deal with these waves. No Baron at least for another 3 minutes. So there is a timer for Riddle. They do have pretty okay wave clear with the Morgana Tormented Soils and the Jinx Rockets and things. So it's not completely the end of the world. But they are still doing a lot of damage. And oh my lord, Gooby. Absolutely chunked out. They teleport to the minion, but it's tanking the tower as well. So they should be able to crack open the base here. Taking this inhibitor. And the Shot Blast is going to connect onto PlayStation. Doesn't do too much yet. As they take the bottom inhibitor. You can look to try and crack open some other objectives on the map. You've got 1 minute 40 until the Cloud Drake spawns up. You've got 2 minutes until that Baron.
Yeah, man, it's just, you look at Fnatic right now, and they're just so textbook, right? You know, they push in the waves, get the pressure, move towards the bot side, get the inhibitor, backs off, resets, don't let Riddle catch a break at all. Now they're going to get out of the map, and they're going to continue the siege on another side of the map. And you can see every time there's a camp respawning on Riddle's side of the map, they're just taking it from them, Fnatic. They're making sure that there's no way for Riddle to get back into this game. The only thing Riddle has got going for them right now is that, yes, there are minions coming into you. There's going to be super minions being pushed into you, but that is all the gold you're going to be getting. Fnatic decides whatever this game is going to be about now.
It looks like for now it's just going to be a bit of a slower pace as Fnatic will just wait for this next objective, and I don't think Riddle are even going to bother contesting this Cloud Drake. It's only the third, and as annoying as Fnatic are with Cloud Soul, I don't think losing it is potentially the biggest end of the world for them. But Fnatic, they're just relentless. They're continuing to go. PlayStation gets chunked out. They are looking to try and take out this tower as PlayStation is just continually getting poked out by Shot Blasts and Arcane Shots. Slowq on a flank, seeing if there's an opportunity to find an assassination, but Bean is very slippery. Got the stopwatch and that Shroud's Grudge, so got the slows coming in as well. Almost landing another Shot Blast onto PlayStation.
It seems like they're just using PlayStation for target practice. They don't care about the rest of the members. They want to see who can hit the most shots onto PlayStation. Equalizer comes down.
Femi's coming in. They've got the encore. The true shot takes him out instantly. And Fnatic are just liquefying the health bars of everyone on Riddle. Slowq dies on the back line. It's a double kill for Bean. The binding's going to hit onto one, but the flashes come forwards. And Kex is just delivered back as Bean secures himself a triple kill. Kex comes in for the smash, but the ace is there for Fnatic. The base will be quick to follow as well. Stopwatch is a burn, and Kex's zombie is just taken down like it is absolutely nothing. The supers will conga their way into the base, and Riddle have nothing to fight for anymore. This game is done. Fnatic take it.
And they had a few sloppy dives. They had some questionable plays in the early game, but that was it. After that point, Fnatic made sure that Riddle never got an inch back into this game.
A near flawless game from Fnatic. 10 towers to 0. A 13,000 gold lead. Only those 4 kills and those 2 dragons stopping that from being a perfect game. Fnatic Rising came out on fire into the summer split.
And you really got to give that to them. So Fnatic, we talked about it. They looked a bit shaky in the past here, and we've even talked about a lot of the players from the side of Riddle. They're bringing on talented individuals, but Fnatic just made sure that none of them got us time to shine. We saw some glimpses of Slowq, but outside of that, Febiven pressuring the mid lane, up towards the top side, and just keeping the pressure alive. They were just never able to do anything. As soon as Scooby was just, 2 steps too far forward in any given lane, they were ready with the TPs, they were ready with the equalizers, and with the team comp Fnatic had made for themselves, it just seemed impossible for Riddle to navigate these fights.
It was a very good game for Fnatic. They really showed up today, and I think we needed that because, it wasn't the best European Masters for them. It wasn't the best spring split, and they came out on fire. They came here proving themselves that they are here to play. Now, I think it's time for us to pass it over to our analyst desk to break this one down. So, Scoundrel, over to you, mate.
Thank you very much, guys. Beautiful stuff on the day, and Fnatic as well coming out swinging. Which, as Jake correctly said, they had a disappointing spring split. They lost out to Excel the first time that this happened in a very long time within the Nordic and the UK scene. And then again, as Jake correctly mentioned, had a rough time in the European Masters. So, this is a rebuilding split for Fnatic. This is a split where they're going to want to pick themselves up, dust off their shoulders and say, wait a second, we've got the likes of Febby, we've got the talent of Bean, Pride, an excellent top. We can do this. We can be the best team in the NLC. And this was a good way to start things off. really versus a very, very strong team, Orcs.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think Riddle showed a lot of strength, particularly in the early game, and there were moments where you felt like if they're against potentially a weaker side, we could have seen some of that come into fruition. But it's very clear that Fnatic have been using their time well since we last saw them in the spring split. They've been practicing, and the execution was on point here. The question is, can they maintain this? And the big factor is we're going to see them face against XL before the playoffs. How will that match go?
And I honestly really like the fast pace that Fnatic had. You know, they didn't let go. They just kept going forward. They kept going for the kills. They kept going for the dives. Something that Gubo very funnily memed was the fact that Fnatic could not pull out very successful tower dives. And this game, they kept repeatedly trying to go for them. They kept repeatedly pushing their boundaries and pushing their lead. And it just felt like that pop-up factor that we were missing, that push that we were missing. They literally opened on their first game of their split with all of it.
Yeah, it was a lot of aggression there from Fnatic, and that's what I like to see. Like, I think just essentially saying, okay, if we are the better team, we prove it. We just come in and we sort of swing really hard on our first game, and they hit the mark on the head. Of course, everyone that's joining the NLC from the Prime League, I hope you had a good time over in the Prime League. Obviously, we are the Northern European League. We had XL do very well at the European Masters. You missed them playing earlier today, but we will be back tomorrow. If you want to get updates, by the way, on the teams, and you want to get some updates on like the games and seeing some of the clips throughout today, make sure you go over to our socials and follow NLC LOL. And Twitter, we tweet out loads of stuff. So make sure if you're interested in following the NLC stuff, head over to Twitter and give us a follow to sort of get notified when we are going live with our broadcasts, but also when we're seeing particular games. Okay, so let's take a look. We've got Orcs, I believe you have a clip ready from that game that we're going to break down. So let's take a little bit more of a deeper dive into one of the moments that really stood out for Fnatic.
Yeah, so I think this is one where they were quite ahead at this point, but they really just accelerated the game and took it over. You can see Riddle looking to step up to contest priority, and the sort of go moment is when that big shock blast hits from Pride. That really signifies that they'll be able to easily take out Gooby, but it's so perfectly coordinated. You can see from this angle up towards the top side, we have the Renekton coming in for the flank, cutting off the escape. You can see here Rux is moving in with the quickness, and then while this is all happening, you can already see that the equalizer has come down here to slow them and apply all that damage. There is on the other side, as you can see, Akali coming in from this direction, but it's not even too relevant because by the time Akali arrives, the fight's already basically over, and we can see when it plays out, the quickness corrects, Gooby instantly goes down, and with the Jinx dead and the Morgana quickly following, there's no real team fight for Riddle to take in this situation. They still try their best and get a trade kill, and you can see Slowq doing a lot of work on the back end, but it's just not quite enough after that initial engage.
I think Riddle had some moments, and I do think the Riddle team looks pretty solid, but of course it is. I think if you've watched the NLC before, you will understand that XL and Fnatic are the toughest tests that you're going to get in this league. Like, they've been on top for the last couple of splits for a reason. Although Riddle did make it to the finals previously when they had the Vendelbo roster, but nonetheless, you are still testing yourself against Fnatic and XL. And if you want a good barometer of where you stand in the NLC, those are the teams that are generally like the litmus test. Can we beat Fnatic? Okay, no, we can't. Where do we stand beyond that? But we've got loads of games. Like this is an extended NLC split. We have got so many games to really see how these teams evolve and develop throughout the split. So I'm very interested in that. All right. Trouble, now's your time to shine. You have selected an MVP. We're gonna name it the Trouble MVP of the day. If it's Marcoon, then I'm done.
It's not Marcoon! For the first time, it's not Marcoon!
Oh wow, it's not Marcoon!
This time it's going to be Dragda. I felt like his Ashe today, it was so freaking spectacular to watch. His long-range ultimates were on point. He was hitting people from literally the opposite side of the map. This guy shows that he has a huge variety of champions that he can pick from. His positioning has always been stellar on every team fight. His flashes are on point. His ultis were on point. He was engaging, he was disengaging, he was kiting. No one could touch him, and I feel like I could pick any player, honestly, because I feel like the Singularity game was really imprinted into my brain today. All I'm thinking about was like Singularity, because I think there was one team that like really hard stomped their game today, and every single member of theirs performed beautifully. But I feel like Dragda deserved it just because she was playing on a much harder champion to execute, really hard to position with. If you make one mistake on Ashe, you're pretty much dead, and he just played it flawlessly.
Yeah, I think as well, the fact that, looking at the composition, they were really reliant on the Ashe to facilitate a lot of their engages. And sometimes you definitely have those games where they'll whiff a lot or they won't necessarily be reliable, but it was just like clockwork. And especially sometimes there's a scenario where you fire it into a full team and it's like, you're probably going to get someone. But it was when people were isolated and alone, he's firing across the map. It was really well played, definitely deserving.
Yeah, as you mentioned before that game even started, like they didn't have much engage potential. He was the engage, and he hit the mark every time. There was some Varus plays that we could point out today that didn't quite hit the mark, but the Ashe that game was absolutely excellent from Dragdown. It's good to see Singularity coming in hot to the NLC because they are a team that we expect to be there at the top. Should we take a look back at some of the games today? We had 5 games, first time ever in the NLC, bringing you like those 5 games in a row. So lots of action. This was the first game of the day. It was the Tricked versus Granite matchup, where Tricked ended up coming out on top.
Yeah, and it felt like this was a little bit of a drafty for me. Like, Granite obviously seemed like they were extremely competitive on the map, but unfortunately the drafters did not allow them to completely unlock themselves on the map. And then we go on to the Galaxy Racer versus Kova, which I felt like Outlandish was trying to 1v5 that game, but every single member on Galaxy Racer actually performed so well that it was impossible.
And then we had a close one between BTXL and Resolve. Honestly, the early game really going in Resolve's favor, but it came to fights like these in the mid game. Power the Seraphine clutched, and XL managed to come out ahead. And then this one between Singularity and Dusty, honestly, just really well played from Singularity. In the later fights from the mid game onwards, we've seen those beautiful arrows, but the execution was so good. The coordination between Nulty with the Equalize and his teammates, really excellent, just to dictate a lot of these fights.
And I'm just so glad again that we saw this long range arrow from Dragda. That was one of the reasons I picked him as my MVP for the day. But then of course we have the look at him. It's like his positioning, his arrows, he's 5-1 and 10 at this point. He had an even better KDA by the time it ended. And of course Fnatic, they showed up today. They finally showed that Fnatic face. There were some issues. They managed to overcome them. They came into the Reef and they absolutely blasted.
Yeah, I think for the most part, the expected winners won today. You look at the people who came into those individual matchups, the people who I would say were the majority favored did end up taking the first W of the season. So we've seen a lot of the teams already on their outings. Obviously, teams split up into Group A and Group B. I don't know if we have updated standings that we could potentially show you at the end of the day now. We can have a look at where those teams are sitting. I'll have to wait until I get the okay from the old producer.
I can tell you, Scandal, a bunch of teams have 1 win. And
I can imagine a bunch of teams are 1-0. I can imagine a bunch of teams are 1-0. There we go. Yes, a bunch of teams are 1-0. BTXL, Singularity, and Tricked at the top of the table here over on Group A. Dusty, Granite, and Resolve all going 0-1. Obviously, Resolve had that tough matchup against BTXL, but they really made them work for that win. I think Resolve are a team to keep your eye on through the remainder of this split. We can have a look over at Group B now, see where we stand over here. Still a couple of teams that are yet to play. Godsent and Nordivind have got another matchup to look forward to.
We have 2
tomorrow.
Kovas.
2 Kovas. Wow.
Oh my God. 2 Kovas. That's insane. And
they both
0-1.
lost. That's unlucky.
Wow.
Yog.
That's absolutely nutty.
Yeah.
Fnatic, Galaxy Racer. Galaxy Racer, another team that I do genuinely believe has some real potential to be a dark horse in this tournament. So kind of excited to see how Galaxy Racer continue to sort of expand. They've got some really high caliber players like Monk, Vendelbo, etc. on that roster. So, a team that has got some individual talent. And we have said that about a lot of teams in the NLC, though, over the last split. Like, there have been teams where you think that roster is individually stacked. And yeah, it hasn't quite worked out. But, I mean, that's a good start for Galaxy Racer, honestly.
Yeah, and I think I kind of highlighted it at the start that it's going to be, at least in my opinion, my dark horse for this particular split. If anyone's going to pull any upsets, I do believe it's going to be Galaxy Racer, but we have yet to see them play against an oldie but a goodie, like a big competitor from the NLC. And moving forward to that week, we're going to get to test them on that matter too.
Yeah, just sort of as a reminder, we have less playoff spots this time round. There is going to be more matches, but as a result, we saw a lot of situations last split. Nordivind is a big example. They finished 3rd in playoffs. In the final week, there was 1 game which would have been the difference between them getting 4th in their group and making playoffs and then being in relegation. So I don't think you can leave it as late. I know we're very early in the split, but teams need to get the ball rolling now because there isn't as much wiggle room.
I agree, Orcs. And I think, you know, as you said, instead of it's now a much shorter cutoff to get into those playoff spots, and those playoffs also lead you to a potential European Masters spot as well. So not only have you got your NLC hopes on the line, but your European Masters hopes are on the line from the very get-go here in the NLC. Every game is going to count. We have more games coming your way tomorrow, by the way. We're kicking off with that Group B matchup that we have yet to see, which is the Nordavind versus Godsent matchup, a bit of a classic in the NLC. Resolve versus Granite will follow. We then have Team Singularity versus BCXL, which I'm pretty hyped about, honestly. I think that's going to be a good one. Dusty versus Tricked, and we're going to end the day with another really interesting matchup of Riddle versus Galaxy Racer. So plenty of insane games to come and watch tomorrow. Make sure you follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, NLC LOL, to ensure you get the notifications when we go live, because we've got some really talented players. All of them deserve to be in the spotlight. And, you know, with the likes of BTXL, we've got some really high-level European talent here too. Anyway, I've had a really good day. I've had an amazing first day here at the NLC. You guys have been fantastic on the desk, Orcs and Trouble. Make sure you give them some love on socials as well. And for the now, we will see you tomorrow.
All I had in my mind that time when I read these grateful words, I knew